enemy. You better watch out if your enemy's a road ahead of full prophecy to be the greatest beast the world has ever seen. I feed him every day like the bones clean. I feed him all the hate and he grows me. And he gets caught real big, pissed off quick. And if you cross him, you might drop dead. Metaphorically, of course, settling the score. Never getting bored, lots of blood and gore. Always wanting more freedom from the source. They don't really listen until they feel it for the party. And if you start shit, you'll be heartless in the darkness. Torn apart quick, you left scars ripped. You'll be chewed up and discarded. And this world ain't right, won't accept it. Negative energy, I expect it. Once it's in your mind, it's infectious. So fight for your life.
Cut to the chase. The President of the United States is a coward who is Vladimir Putin's puppet. And the Vice President of the United States is a pogue and a coward who is Donald Trump's puppet. And so what we just witnessed was a meeting in the Oval Office between two cowardly puppets and a hero.
Yeah, what he said. Welcome to another episode of The Voice of Reason. I hope everybody had a good day. We got a lot to talk about tonight. We wanted to talk about because Mike was off on Sunday, so we wanted to talk about the meeting between Donald Trump and Volodymyr Zelensky and how embarrassing it was for almost every American except for MAGA who thinks that he owned Zelensky.
Someone I work with actually was talking about how he loved how Trump handled him and made him know his place. My God, the disrespect that Americans have for so-called what they think is democracy, what they think is patriotism, and when they're faced with actual patriots defending themselves from tyranny, they don't know that those are the good guys. They don't understand it. It's disgusting. And
he's been getting a lot of, I don't know, there's a lot of talks going on, and maybe there's a deal, maybe there's not going to be a deal regarding mineral rights in Ukraine. Who knows at this point? But I thought Zelensky handled himself, personally, I thought he handled himself extremely well, considering the amount of stupidity that was thrown into his face. Like we have 5 or 6 clips of this entire thing, and we wanted to just kind of break it down.
One of the things that's super obvious is throughout the whole thing, Trump and Vance are constantly yelling and cutting him off and trying to and Zelensky the whole time is calmly well, that's a stupid point. You guys,
I know it doesn't. We also want, if you're not convinced by the end of this episode that the GOP and Donald Trump and probably even Elon Musk are all in the pockets of Russia, I don't know what else to tell you.
They're in something much warmer, moister, and stinkier than Russian pockets, and it's getting too obvious. At what point does anyone do anything about it?
Right. So we remember how Brian Glenn made fun of Zelensky for not wearing a suit. In the last episode, I showed this picture because, Zelensky, I mean, he looks professional to me, even though he's not wearing a suit. He's wearing dress pants.
Has to wear a suit.
No. And then Elon Musk running an entire cabinet meeting wearing a fucking tech support T-shirt and a MAGA hat.
I saw someone say he looks like a 1990s Coke dealer.
He does. Like one from Miami or something like that.
Exactly.
And then right before the show, I saw this post by Elon Musk just to make everything exponentially more cringe. He just posted this picture of the Doge father. And it's got 13 million views, man.
You know what's amazing? There is no one that called him that. He made that for himself. Well, he did. Probably couldn't. He had his little team of daycare kids do it. But
no, he just asked his Grok to do it, his AI program that he has. But okay, so let's start off by talking about the GOP a little bit because they are not having a good time with Trump's policies. They are having, Well, I'll show the town halls at the end because we want to talk about that a little bit where the GOP is now. They're just not going to do town halls anymore either because they're getting a lot of pushback from their own constituents.
I mean,
shocker.
It's fascinating because I'm seeing something that I can't describe. I'm not a psychologist. I'm not a sociologist. MAGA is clearly a cult, but boy, they're not just turning on Republicans. They're flat out shit talking Trump in these town hall meetings, and the Republicans are so scared they literally made a decision to stop having town halls. Now, that doesn't mean they're not having virtual town halls. In fact, tomorrow I'm going to be getting on. Possibly we'll be able to ask a question to Nick LaLota, one of my local Congress douchebags, big MAGA scumbag. And they're doing virtual ones because they don't have to get the optic of running away from the MAGA, which is on camera for dozens of these little dorks.
That's so sad.
Oh, it's hilarious.
That's so sad. All right, so let's talk about the GOP first, because the GOP is fully endorsing the Trump alliance with Russia. And one person in particular that we want to talk about is Senator Tommy Tuberville.
The dumbest person ever to serve in government.
I swear his name just reminds me of a SpongeBob character. But yeah, we have to stop electing stupid people. Like, I know it's Alabama, but goddamn, there's got to be somebody better qualified than this idiot. So let me show you what Tuberville said about this whole Ukraine Russia thing.
What a manly man. What a majestic guy. Look at him. Former coach, athlete.
I'm sorry. That was not the right video. My bad. That was one of my favorite videos of Tommy Tuberville. Here's the video of him talking about it.
Zelensky, for some reason, wants this war to keep going. And he has been, I guess, brainwashed by the globalist socialist group in Europe, and even some over here, that, hey, just keep this thing going. We'll keep funneling money to you. But they couldn't be more wrong. President Trump is tired of people dying, our American taxpayer dollars going over there. And so he'll try to get this finished. But Zelensky's going to play hardball. But you know what? He's not even in the game. It's going to be Putin and President Trump and the people on our side that will end up making this decision for the future of Ukraine.
What now? Wait, whoa.
Wow.
So what is, wait a minute. What a United States representative just said, someone who was elected by Americans, a Republican, to make policy decisions that affect America and the entire planet, really, just said that
Ukraine,
the United States, Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin will decide what's best for Ukraine.
Yep, he just said that on national television, by the way. That's okay. We have one more video of Tommy Tuberville, and then we'll get into the whole meeting between, because Tommy is not very smart. Okay, so I want everybody, just before I show this video, just remember the word he's looking for is triangle. Okay, triangle.
He invented a new word, so maybe he's a genius. Maybe he's actually secretly really smart.
Apparently, yeah, a new three-sided shape, the triangle.
He's going to help there. Pete Hegseth has welcomed Doge to come into the military. We have to start in the Pentagon. We need to make a trigon, three-sided Pentagon. It is way too big, way over-bloated. They have, 40,000 people in the Pentagon, then 100,000 people across the street in Arlington that are making tons of money. We have to cut back and do it for the warfighter. Help the warfighter build equipment, do the things we need to do. We can get the cuts, but we need to continue to do what Pete has done, is cut out all the bloat and all the DEI, get our military back to a killing machine, somebody that can protect this country and our allies.
Yeah, that's what it is. All that DEI is making our military weak.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I wonder. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say they're still blaming Biden for the economy crashing. You know what I mean? The economy started crashing literally the second Donald Trump started talking about tariffs.
Something started showing up today, an old tweet of Donnie Boy's, because there's always a tweet for Donald Trump.
I know what you're talking about.
Always a fucking tweet for Donald Trump. Yep. And the question is him saying, I'm going to paraphrase, but it's what he's saying. After 2 days, a market drops 1,000 points, the president should immediately be impeached.
I honestly, for the first time, might actually agree with something that Donald Trump has said.
To be completely honest, in 2 days, when he announced the tariffs would go into effect today, the market has gone down 1,300 points. And there's videos going around of local news. See, this is the funny thing. Local news never stops. As much as the big media conglomerates have shot themselves and they're never going to be anything useful anymore, the local news is still what many people cling to every day, every night. They watch it. They watch Jeopardy. They watch Wheel of Fortune, whatever. And there's local news outlets. One of them was a guy going to a car dealership, and they said, "How much was this car yesterday?" It was like a Ford F-150. It was like 80 grand. He's like, "How much is it as of this morning?" 100 grand. Why? Trump's tariffs.
Yep. I try to tell everybody about the car business because I used to be in the car business that this would immediately impact their sales. The car dealerships are going to close because of this nationwide. It's going to be like back in '08 when the housing bubble popped. It's going to be that bad. The Trigon. I still can't get over that. That's why I named the last episode "Morons Are Governing America" because that's literally what MAGA should stand for. Because that's what we have. We have morons that are governing America.
It's self-inflicted, but at the same time, it's so complex how we got here. And in reality, it's because we have a bunch of stupid people that hate a lot of other people that were lied to by the people that they are supposed to trust. And that was all funneled and fueled. And I know this sounds conspiratorial, but at some point it's going to be, it's obvious this was all started by Russia. It really was. This isn't actually a conspiracy theory. This isn't even something we have been able to scratch the surface of ourselves. We're not equipped to do that. We're just showing you the obvious stuff that keeps coming to the top of everything. It's right there for everyone to see.
Right?
I don't get it.
Oh, and as far as morons go, we remember this part here where Elon Musk, I should say also, we will make mistakes. We will not be perfect. When we make mistakes, we'll fix it quickly. So, for example, USAID, one of the things we accidentally canceled very briefly was Ebola prevention. If you remember the video, he actually was laughing when he said this, like it was no big deal.
But let's not forget what that cabinet meeting looked like.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter what he was doing. I personally think he was tweeting about why he smelled something when he cracked.
Somebody in
here he was like,
really
"Hey,
bad.
Melania, why does it smell again?" And she doesn't answer. She's blocked him years ago. Anyway, so if there was a picture of that from any second of Joe Biden's presidency, someone would have scaled the Oval Office walls and removed him, and they would have executed him publicly. That's the insanity that they accuse Biden of for 4 years, accuse Obama, accuse everyone. It's Donald Trump in his first cabinet meeting being run by Elon Musk, an illegal alien, an illegal immigrant. Alien is not a good word. He is an illegal immigrant, okay? And Donald Trump, the supposed president, is napping or staring at his navel.
While pooping.
Oh, pooping.
While Vladimir Putin is laughing his fucking ass off right now because the Kremlin says U.S. foreign policy shift aligns with its vision. Moscow. The Kremlin said in remarks aired Sunday that the United States' dramatic shift in foreign policy largely aligns with its own vision. U.S. President Donald Trump has sought to build ties with Moscow since taking office in January, reaching out to President Vladimir Putin and siding with Russia at the United Nations. And one of the things people are worried about that he may announce at his State of the Union address, or whatever the fuck you want to call it, is the withdrawal from the UN.
Oh, yeah.
Or with NATO, or whichever, either one.
Whatever.
They're talking about both.
They're
talking about withdrawing from both. So at this point, it really doesn't matter.
You know why it doesn't matter? It matters less than I think we thought to the world. For us here, we're screwed. And for a lot of people around the world, this is bad news. Without the U.S. as some sort of stable democracy, there's a lot of bad shit that's going to go down and no one's going to check them. But at the same time, I got to tell you, NATO is starting to step up. All right. Trump stopped all aid to Ukraine because he got butthurt. Well, Canada just announced money to Ukraine. Other countries are announcing more aid and weapons to Ukraine. Why? Because everyone understands what's really going on. The invasion of Ukraine was the final plan to destroy not just the United States, not just Ukraine, but the global world order that has pissed off Vladimir Putin ever since the Soviet Union went away. That's what this is. They said they would take us down without firing a shot. What else more do you need to see? And guess what? We have more things we're going to show you because there is more to see. It's like ridiculous how much crap. It's obvious.
Like this post. Thank you for introducing this properly, Mike. This post right here by Donald Trump. We should spend less time worrying about Putin and more time worrying about migrant rape gangs, which, what the fuck is that? Drug lords, murderers, and people from mental institutions Okay, can we agree that Donald Trump thinks people seeking asylum are
Yes,
people
yes.
from insane asylums? Can we all
100%.
agree that he
That
thinks
is-
crazy people are being let out of insane asylums and coming? That's not none of this
Yes,
is
it
happening.
is.
And what is a migrant rape gang?
I assume it's one of his fantasies.
No, that would be toddler. No, I'm sorry.
Nope.
I'm not gonna say it, bro. I'm not gonna say it.
No,
Not gonna
you know
say
what?
it.
No. I feel bad. We just tarnished our president, and I want to set the record straight. He is a proper businessman who is selling what is probably Chinese-made hats on the Resolute desk in the Oval Office.
Yeah,
This literally happened. He was selling a product. That
Yep.
money is not going to charity. Now, if he said, I want to sell these hats and all of this money is going to go to cancer research, you know what? Fuck it. Do it. But he didn't, because all that money is going into his pocket. And for some reason, that creepy, weird dude behind him is giddy about something, and it freaks me out.
I know, right there. I'm really happy about what's going on.
I don't know.
The best part about that whole scenario when he had those hats there was he had a giant map in the background with large lettering that said Gulf of America on it. I just had to laugh at how
I am glad you said that, because did you notice my new
so
hat
stupid.
today?
Oh, the Gulf of Mexico. Nice. Perfect. You did get that. You were telling me you were going to order that.
Came. Yep,
That's
it finally
perfect.
came.
All right, so let's talk about Donald Trump in Russia, because it is no secret if you do even the remotest amount of digging. I mean, we're a
Just look at the headlines.
Right. We're a podcast with no funding, and we're basically able to piece this all together.
This isn't
Donald
even
Trump
digging anymore. It's
Right,
literally every day.
Right. He's been a Russian asset since 1987. He started promoting Russian propaganda the minute he got back from his first trip to Moscow. Okay. But I found a video made by.
Amazing.
Yeah, this is perfect. It's about a minute and a half long, and it perfectly explains Donald Trump's ties to Russia. Okay. Here you go.
The silly story of when Donald Trump was a Russian money launderer. In the late 80s and early 90s, Donald Trump was in complete financial failure. As soon as Donald had control of the Trump Organization, he quickly borrowed, spent, and soon collapsed his father's company. By 1992, he's on the hook for $800 million and is desperately seeking any avenue to make himself solvent. Meanwhile, in Russia, as their economy crashes, the Russian mafia is trying to move as much money as possible out of Russia. In total, they end up moving close to $2 trillion. And a very large chunk of that money ends up passing into Donnie's grubby little hands. Trump Tower is one of the few places in America where you can buy a condo anonymously, which, if you're looking to privately launder large sums of money, buying New York real estate and never having to disclose who you are or where your money came from, is just ideal. Building after building is constructed, and the Russian mob, both directly and through shadowy shell companies, buys nearly 70% of his unoccupied space. By the 2000s, the vast majority of the Trump Organization is paid for with dark money directly from Russian oligarchs and the Russian mafia. At this point, Russian businessmen have cut out the middlemen and started building these towers themselves, simply leasing Donald's name and organization while they create their own real estate to purchase with
I
their
love
own
this
dirty
video.
money. With less time than time to focus on his real passion, being famous. Donald will tell you this story about his business sense, how he fought back from bankruptcy, and he's this self-made billionaire. But what Lil Donnie actually is, he's a mule, an asset for cleaning cash from human trafficking, extortion, and the drug trade. And without 2 decades of Russian money, he'd be broke, alone, and on the street.
Yeah, Donald Trump has somehow managed to fail his way to the top.
Well,
I've never seen
he's got what
more
it takes.
failures.
White maleness.
Yeah, I know. Right. Yeah, that's a whole other topic.
Look,
But
if you are an unscrupulous fuck like Donald Trump, and you are willing, not just willing, if you are a criminal at your core, that is what Donald Trump is. He's a grifter, he's a liar, he's a cheat, he's a scammer. That is what he is. He's never done anything in his life to benefit anyone except himself, not his kids, nobody.
Right. One day, you can look. There's ways you can, like Donald Trump started with $400 million, not all cash, obviously, a lot of it was property, but just if you just inflated the value over the years from the time he got the money to now, he should technically be a trillionaire. I mean, if he would have just sat on the money that he had and just let it grow, he honestly would have been the richest man on earth. But
if you actually look at it, let's look what that video just showed. That none of that was speculation. That was literally all stuff we understand that happens. Okay, that's all traceable stuff. But think about it. he's never amassed that fortune because he fails all the time. The reason he fails all the time is because everything he is a shell corporation.
Oh my
He
God.
has been propped up to exist and live the life he has by the Russian money. And there's no actual business model. It's just another business. They funnel money, it fails. Another business, they funnel money, it fails.
That just hit me like a ton of bricks when you said that.
That's why it's just licensing his name. He doesn't do anything.
All right, so let me ask this question, right? And you just pretty much answered it, but I'm asking it anyway. How does Donald Trump continue to do the things he does with all the failures? You know what I mean?
Think about this. There is not a single business that has ever been attached to the Trump name that has not failed, has not gone bankrupt, has not been sued into oblivion.
Mm-hmm. And don't say The Apprentice because he was not the one that came up with
business. He was the mule. They used him to make money, and in turn they made him a president. Okay, but let's think about it. How do you bankrupt a casino? You know how you bankrupt a casino? All your money is money laundering profits.
Yeah,
that's how you bankrupt a casino.
Casinos literally basically have a license to print their own money, for crying out loud. I mean, he's had so many stupid ideas like the Trump airplanes, fucking Trump vodka, the Tour de Trump. Google Tour de Trump. Donald Trump tried to do a Tour de France in the United States, said it was going to be the greatest thing anybody's ever seen, and of course called it the Tour de Trump. And it was obviously a complete failure.
And guess what? All those things need startup money. Guess what that startup money is? Money laundering. Because guess what? It was never going to take off. No one in the U.S. gives a shit about cycling in that capacity.
Right.
So what do you really think that's going to happen? The world cycling community is ready to come here? No.
Yeah. If you have an endless cycle of dirty money coming in, you can have as many failed businesses and bankruptcies as you could possibly imagine, I would think. But I've just never seen somebody fail so much. Like most people in a lifetime, if they filed for bankruptcy, that could ruin them for their entire lives. Sometimes, depending on the situation. But this guy's filed bankruptcy 6 times? I know 4 for sure.
Who the hell knows? Who cares?
I mean,
it's
what
absurd.
The fuck?
But you know what? To your point about just coming into some realization, there's someone else recently that looks like they had some major life-changing realization. That is Mark Rubio. In the meeting with Zelensky, if you actually look at this video, you can tell his spine crawled out of his asshole and ran away.
He's literally melting into the couch. Yeah, none of these MAGA politicians have a spine. It's pathetic watching men emasculate themselves for this guy. It really is.
I mean, okay, so we've been talking about it. So where are we with videos? Do we want to start going through all the overlays?
Yeah, let's start talking about. Well, you know what? Let me show first the meeting between Zelensky and Donald Trump. Russian media.
I apologize for this in advance, everyone.
Yeah, Russian media was allowed in. Just think about that for a second. That may be the first. That has to be the first time in White House history that Russian media, literal propaganda state media, was allowed into the Oval Office.
$10. I will bet you $10 that in July 4th, North Korean media is going to be at the celebration at the White House or something. You're
probably right. And the other people that were there. Marjorie Taylor Greene's dipshit boyfriend, Brian Glenn, Newsmax host, asking the hard-hitting questions of, why aren't you wearing a suit?
And my second question for President Zelensky. Why don't you wear a suit? Why don't you wear a suit? You're the highest level in this country's office, and you refuse to wear a suit. Just want to see if do you own a suit?
Yeah, problems.
A lot of Americans have problems with you not respecting.
I don't have such. I will wear a costume.
I like his response.
After this war will finish.
I'll wear a costume.
Maybe something like yours, yes. Maybe something better. I don't know. We will see. Maybe something cheaper.
Now, wait a second.
Now.
Well, I'm sorry. What happened there?
And that's the president of the United States there running that cabinet meeting. But
right.
Let's just pretend for a moment that douchebag was not just trying to be a troll to someone who was trying to defend his country from annihilation. Let's just pretend that. Okay. That is, as Jeremy said, Marjorie Taylor Greene's boyfriend. They're a power couple, and this is not the first time MAGA media has mentioned that Zelensky doesn't wear a suit. But I think it's important to look at some historical parallels, because it clearly you cannot accomplish anything in the world if you don't wear a suit. See, that's why they don't want women to wear suits, because then it'll appear like women can achieve anything. See, it's all tied together. But historically speaking, that guy could fuck himself, because if Winston Churchill can be at the White House while he's waging war against fucking Nazis, Vladimir Zelensky can wear whatever he wants while he's fighting Russian Nazis. It's as simple as that.
I agree, and I like his response. Maybe I'll wear a costume after this is all over,
like yours.
Right,
he said
one
it
of
like
the
yours.
Yeah, one of the people, or one of the reasons Zelensky dresses the way he does too is he's dirt poor. He doesn't he's not there to enrich himself. It's one of the reasons these people like him so much.
Like dire threat. He's not stopping to sell hats at a bunker when he's trying to save his people.
Yeah. Oh God. Here. Side note. Did you hear about Claudia Sheinbaum, the president of Mexico's her approval rating?
Yep.
85%. That's insane. 85 out of 100 people are like, we can't get America to agree on half. And they got 85%.
We are a Coke-Pepsi country. We will not agree more than 51% on anything.
We couldn't get America to agree on 85% of shit. I can't remember the last time I saw a poll that said 85% of Americans agree on this or whatever. It doesn't matter what it is. All right. So, so Brian Glenn was asking the tough questions. So let's get into Donald Trump. God, this guy's voice makes me want to vomit anymore.
No, seriously, we were talking about this before the show, and I just want to point it out. You know, we had a lot of rough mental gymnastics after the election, figuring out what we wanted to do, how we wanted to stay focused, how we wouldn't honestly jump off bridges. So, and that's not to make light of anything like that, but to be fair, we didn't know what we wanted to do mentally. And one of the things I've done, I don't watch Trump videos anymore. If I happen to come across one and it's not based on a highlight or a transcript, I will not listen to Donald Trump's voice. It literally enrages me, and it makes me fill with dread and embarrassment.
Yeah, especially live. Oh, God.
So this sucks, and I apologize, but we
have to. Yeah, we have to. So remember, Donald Trump liable for civil rape. Best friends with Jeffrey Epstein, convicted of 34 felonies, just imported a sex trafficker into the United States, and Andrew Tate. Just imagine being Zelensky, having to justify fighting a war where you were the ones invaded to a guy like Trump. Oh my God. That's why I think he handled himself so well, because I'd have been like, who the fuck do you think you are?
Did you see there was a post going around where it was Pete Hegseth, who, if everyone doesn't remember, was literally just a Fox host. The guy is not anybody who should be running our fucking military.
No.
But okay, he's a Fox host, and there's images of when he was reporting on the invasion of Ukraine by Russia. Him standing there pointing to Russia where it says Russia invades Ukraine. But no,
amazing.
No one can answer that anymore.
Right. And we also know that Pete Hegseth, while we're on the topic, he gave orders to stop all cybersecurity efforts, offensive and defensive attempts against Russia. So another reason, obviously, that Russia is behind all of this, because Russia is constantly trying to attack us. Via cybersecurity.
We might as well just bring that up. You mentioned it, so I'll just show these real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
I mean, he literally stopped all of our defensive and offensive attacks or cyber operations against Russia. That doesn't mean Russia's not hacking us anymore constantly. It means we're going to stop defending against it. Forget that we're not going to go after them. I don't care about that, honestly. What I care about is that He's telling you we are no longer going to defend against Russia. Why? Well, a couple of days later, all those documents that Trump stole were being put on a plane and given back to him so he could continue to sell those to all the other dictators around the world. Our country is being systematically dismantled both domestically from our programs to just destroy people's lives, and it is being sold and chunked off to Vladimir Putin and who the hell knows else. And people like Pete Hegseth are doing it. And guess what? Not everyone, even Republicans, know about it because a GOP rep, Carlos Jimenez, is stunned live on Fox about the Trump administration stopping all offensive cyber against Russia. I don't know why he's doing that, adding that they are still constantly attacking us.
Yeah, I can't believe that he didn't even know.
And that right there isn't like some sort of trigger for our military to be like, we got to make a coup here. Like, I don't know that I'm calling for our military to make a coup against Trump, but like, I got to tell you, to save its own skin, at some point, the military is going to be like, do we just let Russia march in and take us? Like, what are you defending? What are we defending anymore?
All right, what are we doing this for? What are we doing this for? All right, so let's get into the videos. So this is Donald Trump explaining that he is just tougher than anybody you've ever seen in the entire world ever.
Tough as a gnarled asshole.
He is super duper tough.
The United States of America, and for the good of the world. I'm aligned with the world, and I want to get this thing over with. You see the hatred he's got for Putin. It's very tough for me to make a deal with that guy. He's got tremendous hatred. And I understand that, but I can tell you the other side isn't exactly in love with, him either. So it's not a question of alignment. I'm aligned with the world.
The world.
Like Zelensky has to sit there and take this.
I want to see if we can get this thing done.
Look at his face.
You want me to be tough? I could be tougher than any human being you've ever seen.
Look at him. Look at Zelensky.
But you're never going to get a deal that way, so that's the way it goes.
He said something here. He said something there that he also said after the meeting. The reason he was so mad at Zelensky is because Zelensky kept saying hateful things about Putin. That's why Donald Trump said he was upset and started like swelling up on him.
Think about that. Think about that.
Like, tough.
Oh my God, the lack of just human existence that comes from Trump is fascinating. He isn't even, how do I phrase this? It's not even his intelligence. He's so crippled by his neuroses and all of his horrible character flaws that he doesn't even know how to pretend. The reason people MAGA fell in love with him is because he's a big asshole bully piece of shit. That's what they loved about him. Yeah. But he's not like clever. They liked him because he doesn't know how to be a politician. Well, at this point, when you're the leader of a country, there's a part of you that has to be able to politic. You have to be able to speak in a way that isn't just that crass and that shitty. How do you even suggest that it's a problem that the guy who is being attacked by someone might not like the guy who attacked him? Like,
shocker.
This isn't a bit, but this goes to show you Donald Trump doesn't see value in human life. He doesn't see value in pledges and oaths. We know that. He doesn't see value in anything but transactions. And he believes if you just kill a few people and then go, come on, let's just stop and let me keep that. You go, all right, that's a fair deal. I lost. We win some, we lose some. That's not how reality works. That's not how democracy works.
Has lost connection.
Yeah.
Can you hear me? All right.
Yep.
Yeah, Trump said that for Vladimir Putin. You know what I mean? Because like, what was Zelensky supposed to do? Come in there and be like, oh, maybe me and Putin could be friends after this is all said and done with. Like, what are you talking about? Why would he be nice?
Oh no, Sally's right. I've heard him talking about this, but he's right because now that he's on Time, right now he's got the Time magazine thing. The next thing is, well, he's got to get the Nobel Peace Prize. He's got to be the most decorated human since Jesus.
I'm surprised he doesn't give himself a Congressional Medal of Honor.
Yo, he would do that. He would do that, and he would do that,
funny.
and he would force some law where Joe Biden had to give it to him.
Yeah, that's funny.
Or Obama or something.
All right, so let's move on to J.D. Vance stepping in and flexing his muscle.
Oh, his tiny little muscle?
Yeah, he looks pretty weak in here. But keep in mind.
He's got a mean eyeliner game.
He does. These guys have great makeup people, except for Trump, like, who just smears orange shit on his face by himself. But yeah, JD Vance again is what, 2 years of experience serving the government. So
being
the fact
in,
that
I'll say.
Right. And then just talking to a guy who's currently under attack, a wartime leader.
You're right. I mean,
the amount of disrespect out of JD Vance's mouth, I would have just, I wish Zelensky would have just got up and tackled him.
the thing
that would have made me happy.
The thing that pisses me off is, man, you're so right. Like, JD Vance, his nonchalant arrogance to be able to just even speak to Zelensky as if they're peers.
Yeah.
The things he says to him are so disastrously pathetic. And then before that, for Donald Trump to say there's no one tougher than him, and Zelensky looks at him because he knows Donald Trump, if he had bombs going off over his head, his diaper would overflow and drown everyone in the bunker. So, like, these men are weak, pathetic cowards, and they're in the presence of someone fighting for his existence and his country's fate.
Right.
And they're berating him like he deserves to be eating out of a bowl at their feet. It's fucking disgusting.
We got a comment on one of our videos on Instagram. They're like, well, should we just keep giving money to Ukraine then? I was like, yes, you fucking
That's
idiot.
how this works.
There's no American boots on Ukrainian soil fighting, unless there are some voluntarily, but that's their own thing. That's like a private citizen thing. But there's no military soldiers. None of our sons and daughters are on Ukrainian soil. They've not even asked for them, as far as I remember
correctly.
They
wouldn't, because they just want the ability to wage war.
Right.
All we give them. Understand throughout history, if you don't have weapons, you can't wage a war.
Right.
There's never been a war waged in history that wasn't funded by someone that wasn't directly involved in the war. Why? That's how fucking commerce works. That's literally how capitalism works.
Yeah.
If you're not funding wars, all your gun makers and weapon makers, what would they do? The people who physically make tanks, where would those businesses go if there was no war? There's another story for another day if you really want to get into that.
And all we're giving them is weapons that we don't even use, that are just stockpiled. We're like, just taking up space.
That's the beauty of it. We're ordering more weapons to replenish our military's old weapons by giving our old weapons to Ukraine. We are not giving them cash. People honestly believe they're so freaking stupid. They believe we are sending them pallets. They believe we're sending them pallets full of cash. No one needs cash in the middle of a war. You know what they need? Weapons. We're giving them our outdated weapons, and which is superior to what they have. Then the United States is agreeing with contracts with American businesses to make more weapons that are better for our military.
Right.
So do you not see it? Do you not understand it?
And I think it's good that Europe is stepping up, because I think what's going to happen is the world is going to realize that they don't need us. They don't really need us. I think that's what's going to happen, and we're going to end up just being left behind. Because of Donald Trump.
They don't need us. Yeah. Now, this has yet to be, I think, confirmed as to what the final fate will be, but apparently one of Norway's largest fuel companies, I'm not going to try, will no longer provide fuel to U.S. forces overseas after Trump's mistreatment and disrespect of Vladimir Zelensky. They say no fuel to Americans. They are encouraging other Norwegians and Europeans to do the same. Trump is making America the adversary of our allies and the ally of our adversaries.
Right. See,
and guess what happened that night? In defiance of a compromised USA, the world shows respect for Ukraine by lighting up landmarks around the world blue and yellow, while Donald Trump would love to make, the Empire State Building glow Soviet red if he could.
He probably would. And how do you think, how do you think our ships get around the world? You think they stop at like American gas stations, in certain parts of the earth?
You know what the problem is, Jeremy?
We rely on other countries.
Clue how anything works. Everyone that uses the word globalist and thinks that means anything, that doesn't hold any value. What that is stupid conspiracy nonsense that eventually leads you to believe lizard men are running a global elite regime. Okay, that is where that word is headed. What's actually happening is when you get big enough, you stop fighting each other because, everyone will kill each other with nuclear weapons, and you just create a world economy. And then you just frickin' trade with each other and everyone benefits. But when you have very, very tiny men with huge egos, you do this.
Yep. By doing all this, Trump is going to make China the absolute boss of the world.
They're going to have so much money to do anything they want.
They are. They're going to build their own economy, world economy, without us. They're already stepping in where USAID left off. So they're building good faith with a lot of countries that need help.
Yep.
Medicine, treatment, stuff like that, food. Yeah, Donald Trump has really, really screwed the pooch.
Yeah, you know what?
On
That food aid that we were sending to other countries, guess who was growing that?
American farmers.
So when you stop sending aid, which isn't just cash,
Trump actually told farmers to have fun after he announced this tariff proposal. He's like, all right, now everybody's going to buy American made. Like, you don't understand how this works.
Didn't Nancy Mace just tell everyone to get some chickens, everything will be fine, and shut up?
Oh, was that her? Yeah.
I forget who it was.
Yeah, to offset the cost of eggs. They actually, I swear, I'm so glad you brought that up because I laughed my ass off when I heard this.
I've always wanted chicken, but that's insane to say that.
Yeah, but like, okay, look, what if you lived in the city? Like, where the fuck are you going to put chickens?
Wait. How about this? I know people don't understand this, but not everywhere where everyone in the United States lives is zoned to have livestock.
Right. And it's, they suggested that we buy and raise chickens to offset the cost of eggs. That is Republican solution 101.
How about this?
Right there.
Something that people don't understand. During World War II, everyone was growing victory gardens. What victory gardens were, where you were growing your own vegetables and produce in your yards, your front lawn, your back lawn, whatever. Then after the war, everyone was like, oh shit, everyone's growing their own food. The food industry that everyone realizes we probably don't need. Oh shit, we got to do something. So they passed laws. I can't just grow like corn in my front yard. I can't do that. So like getting chickens.
Yeah, that's funny. But all right, so let's get back to JD Vance. Here's him being a douche.
Well, I want to respond to this. So look, for 4 years in the United States of America, we had a president who stood up at press conferences and talked tough about Vladimir Putin, and then Putin invaded Ukraine and destroyed a significant chunk of the country. The path to peace and the path to prosperity is maybe engaging in diplomacy. We tried the pathway of Joe Biden of thumping our chest and pretending that the president of the United States' words mattered more than the president of the United States' actions. What makes America a good country is America engaging in diplomacy. That's what President Trump is doing.
Oh, so once again,
diplomacy. That's it.
Right, Joe Biden's fault again.
Oh, and diplomacy, something that Joe Biden was. Look, you can hate Joe Biden all you want. He was a politician, lifelong freaking entrenched politician. The guy was an excellent diplomat. The guy was very good at handling foreign leaders.
He was respected by foreign leaders. Now everybody's just laughing at us. It's embarrassing. But here is Zelensky's response to the arrogance of JD Vance.
Keep it up, Veg. Boycott the shit out of us.
Yeah, please do it. Just do it. Just please shut the fucking electricity off. Just do all of it. Just put us out of our misery.
Dude, I have candles and I could start a fire. Right. Let's do this.
Let's go. All right. So here's Zelensky's response, and I think it's very, very appropriate.
But during 2014 till 2022, the situation the same. That people have been dying on the contact line. Nobody stopped him. You know that we had conversations with him, a lot of conversations, my bilateral conversation, and we signed with him. Me, like a new president, in 2019, I signed with him the deal. I signed with him, Macron and Merkel. We signed ceasefire. All of them told me that he will never go. We signed him with gas contract. Yes, but after that, he broken this ceasefire. He killed our people and he didn't exchange prisoners. We signed the exchange of prisoners, but he didn't do it. What kind of diplomacy, JD, you are speaking about? What do you mean?
I'm talking about the kind of diplomacy that's going to end the destruction of your country.
Yes, but if you
Mr. President,
the kind of diplomacy that's going to diplomatize the diplomat. Shut up.
Right. I mean, if I remember correctly, when Donald Trump was on the campaign trail, this was supposed to be ended on his first day. As a matter of fact, Donald Trump promised he would have this done before he got inaugurated. Piece of cake. Just a phone call. Whatever.
I I have to interject for 1 second because someone on Instagram just said something so brilliant about the bird thing, the chicken thing.
Yeah.
So Runelex just said about chickens. Can you imagine if people started driving around buying hens? Wouldn't that skyrocket bird flu?
I know what happens when
Holy
we all get...
shit! I didn't even think. Oh my, yeah. Everyone in every house has chickens, and the whole country would be dead from bird flu within like an hour and a half.
Oh my the zombie apocalypse because of the chickens. Let's go, baby. We're waiting for something crazy to happen, but yeah,
this is not normal.
This is insane, man. This is true. Like every day I wake up and I'm like, how can this get worse today? And it just does. It just does. So Donald Trump, recently this is just chatting my ass. He has okayed the destruction of 230 million acres of protected forest in the United States.
And why is that? Oh, because we can't trade with Canada anymore because most of our lumber comes from out of the country, so we don't cut down all of our fucking forests.
Yeah, and he did once say, we don't need Canada's lumber. We have forests. He said that. That's almost verbatim, actually. He actually, our dipshit president actually said that. And then this is what he's going to do. Like lumber tycoons or whatever they're called are going to get filthy rich. They're going to throw money his way. And our beautiful landscapes that have been protected for a reason are going to be destroyed. And the environment, our air, our water, everything is going to change.
The Supreme Court today just basically made it easier for companies to dump sewage into water. That is a thing that the compromised SCOTUS just did today. Okay, the fascist protecting SCOTUS just did that today. So guess what? It's already happening. They're lessening the environmental restrictions so corporations can do whatever they want, poison us, not have to waste money on that silly safety.
Yeah. But damn that fluoride.
Yeah, damn that fluoride. Oh, don't get a vaccine, but drink water from that stream right outside the plant.
RFK is getting fucked up by MAGA for suggesting that people in Texas get the measles vaccine. I was like, oh, how tables have turned. And I'm here for it, brother. That's what you get for being an asshole. All right, so this is where things start to get a little heated. Donald Trump, this is where Donald Trump starts getting very loud, very obnoxious. And they're not listening to anything he's saying. This was a total setup. Putin probably called him or messaged him through Starlink or something like that, saying, hey, this is what you need to do. Make an ass of yourself. Don't let him get any words in. And this is what happened. This is embarrassing to me. Like, this is honestly humiliating, watching the leader of our country act like a spoiled, rotten child in front of another world leader on television. So this is a little bit over a minute long, so hang in there.
I think it's disrespectful for you to come into the Oval Office and try to litigate this.
Fuck you, JD.
Media. Right now, you guys are going around and forcing conscripts to the front lines because you have manpower problems. You should be thanking the president for trying to bring it into this conflict.
Have you ever been to Ukraine? That you say what problems we have?
I have been to.
Count once.
I've actually watched and seen the stories, and
I saw a video on X.
You bring them on a propaganda tour, Mr. President. Do you disagree that you've had problems bringing people into your military? And do you think that it's respectful to come to the Oval Office of the United States of America and attack the administration that is trying to prevent the destruction of your country?
What I don't understand is he didn't attack anyone. He's just calling you out on being
the war. Everybody has problems, even you. But you have nice ocean, and don't feel now, but you will feel it in the future.
This is Trump.
God bless. You don't know that.
God bless. God bless. You will not have a war.
Don't tell us what we're going to feel. We're trying to solve a problem. Don't tell us what we're going to feel.
I'm not telling you.
Because you're in no position to dictate that.
That's exactly what you're doing.
You're in no position to dictate what we're going to feel.
So we'll tell you what the fuck happens to the fate of your country and your people, but you don't tell us anything because I'm Donald Trump.
Right. And all he was saying is you have a giant ocean. I mean, we are protected geographically. Yeah. I don't know how protected we're going to be for how much longer if we keep attacking Canada and Mexico.
What he meant by that?
No, he didn't. All he was trying to say is we're protected geographically by large bodies of water. And then eventually it will reach us because the rate we're going, we'll have Russian boots on American soil or American boots on Russian soil. One or the other is going to happen at this rate. That's all he was saying, is that we're going to feel it eventually, but right now we don't feel the effects of what's going on over there because it hasn't reached us yet. And then Donald Trump, obviously, with the understanding of a fifth grade bully, decides to just start attacking him when he wasn't even being insulting. He was just explaining the situation.
Yeah, well, that's anytime you explain anything to Trump, he thinks you're attacking him because he's so fucking dumb. He doesn't know anything.
Yeah. You know what? Now's a good time to show this video.
Oh, no.
Before we show the last one where Donald Trump starts raging some more and J.D. Vance berates Zelensky some more, we in this show are convinced that Trump can't read. Either he can't read or he needs to wear reading glasses, but because he's the ultimate alpha dude, he just refuses to wear them. There's more reporting throughout the years that would indicate that he just can't read past like a fifth grade level. So here he is handed a letter that was written by the King of England. And not only does Donald Trump look at it and go, oh, wow, he then hands it back to the guy and asks him to read it to the people.
Now, I'm going to say it.
Fuck.
If Donald Trump was able to read, do you not think Trump's ego would demand that if the King of England wrote him a personal letter, he would read it in his own words and just be like, ha, ha, ha.
That's what I'm saying. Like, watch. This is so funny to me. Just watch the guy's face. You could expressions say a lot.
The words on the paper. Watch it.
Am I supposed to read it right now?
Yeah, please do.
I will do. He's a great gentleman. A great, great gentleman. Oh, that's well, that is really nice. I must make sure his signature's on that. Otherwise, it's
Thank you,
not
Count.
quite as meaningful. It is, and that's quite a signature, isn't it? Beautiful. He's a beautiful man, a wonderful man, and we appreciate it. I've known him, gotten to know him very well, actually. First term.
He's not saying anything.
Second term. Perhaps you'd like to say what that very important paragraph.
Yes, so this is
Wow.
Bro.
it's an invitation.
Oh, shit. I love doing this sometimes just for moments like this. Seriously, I mean, he handed it back to the guy and asked him if he could read it too. Fuck me, dude. How is this real? How is this reality right now, Mike? I'm so at a loss for words on this.
I mean, I know how it is. A lot of stupid people, a lot of corruption, a lot of bullshit, and a lot of racism and hatred.
Yeah, and this is what we're left with, a man who can't even read a letter written by the King of England.
Look, it's very simple, okay? Because, again, we keep saying none of this is like deep down that you have to dig. The Russian influence on Donald Trump is not just obvious, it's spreading through our government, okay?
Vast.
You can see it. Pete Hegseth stopping defending against cybersecurity. People just allowing Trump to get away with desecrating Ukraine and buddying up to Putin. But one thing everyone's forgetting, this is an interesting post I found the other day that reminded me of some history, some recent history. Hey, everyone, remember when Trump was impeached for denying aid to Ukraine because he wanted Zelensky to lie and say bad things about Biden and Zelensky wouldn't do it?
I remember that.
Well, maybe literally one fucking American newspaper could mention this in their think pieces about what happened yesterday. Yeah, right. Well, let's really refresh it. Remember when he held this up like a douchebag? Trump was acquitted in February by all Republicans, by the way, in 2020, after the House impeached him, alleging he held hostage hundreds of millions of dollars in security aid in order to pressure Ukraine to investigate his political rivals, including his eventual successor, Joe Biden. The aid was eventually provided, but not before a crisis that rattled 2 continents and desperate pleas by Zelensky's government for help fending off the very Russian aggression that now threatens to topple him from power in Ukraine. Gee, it's almost like that whole impeachment was real, because look what's happening now. We're siding with Russia to browbeat Ukraine into surrendering. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm honestly...
A Russia. How about this? There's more of it. This is in 2022. As Russia bombards Ukraine, Donald Trump is wading into the conflict barely 2 years after he faced an impeachment trial on charges that he abused his power. Like,
unbelievable.
And the Republicans let him get off with it, and then America let him get off with it, and now he's doing it again, and no one's going to stop him.
Now, for the last video, and this is the one that pissed me off the most, because this is where JD Vance is like, have you even thanked us since you've been in here? Have you thanked Donald Trump for everything he's done for you? Like, and I'm like sitting here when I'm watching this, I'm like, why the fuck would he thank you dipshits for 3 years? Mike and I did a report on this. We showed videos because Ukrainian soldiers were running out of bullets. They were literally running out of bullets and artillery rounds because specifically the GOP has been trying to defund Ukraine for the last 3 years. Why would he thank you for a goddamn thing? Sorry, I had to get that out of my system. Yep. Let me play the video and we'll talk about it.
Just hold on, folks.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to feel very good. We're going to feel very good and very strong.
You will feel influence.
You're right now not in a very good position. You've allowed yourself to be in a very bad position, and he happens to be right about it.
From the very beginning of the war.
You're not in a good position. You don't have the cards right now. With us, you start having cards. Right now, you don't. You're playing cards. You're playing cards. You're gambling with the lives of millions of people. You're gambling with World War III. You're gambling with World War III. And what you're doing is very disrespectful to the country, this country.
Oh my God!
So him defending his country is disrespectful to America.
This entire meeting? No, in this entire meeting, have you said thank you?
In this meeting, what would he thank you for?
Campaign for the opposition in October. Offer some words of appreciation for the United States of America and the president who's trying to save your...
Oh my God, JD Vance, remove your tongue from Trump's asshole for 2 seconds. The guy is such a just suck up. I can't stand him. But yeah, why would he thank you? Why would he thank you? And Donald Trump, I'm just going to throw it out there. And actually, this video I made of this exact thing I'm going to say got taken down off of TikTok. I appealed it, and they put it back up. Donald Trump just started World War III by withholding aid from Ukraine, or not withholding, just completely cutting it off.
Because guess what? Europe is not going to just stand back and let Ukraine get attacked by Russia now.
Right, and he's also weakened our national defense. We are less safe now. 6 weeks into Donald Trump's presidency, we are less safe now than we were before the election. Think about that. And it's only been a month and a half. So what else do we have to look forward to? Like I said before, how worse could it possibly get? And I have a feeling we're going to find out. Yeah, it's going to get bad for people. But like I always say, and I like saying this now, is we're all going to suffer. So would you rather suffer on your own terms with us? Or are you going to suffer on their terms where they don't give a shit about you, whether you live or die, none of that stuff.
Look, one more little kick in the pants. Spokesman for Putin hails the Trump administration for rapidly changing U.S. foreign policy configurations. This largely coincides with our vision.
Yeah, because it is their vision. It's been the USSR's dream. And Putin was KGB intelligence, so he probably was one of the people that came up with the plan in the first place.
Jeremy, good to know.
Nice, thank you.
We worked on it. We
actually were testing it before the show, so thank you for saying that. I appreciate that. Sorry, so we want to leave you on some hope, though. Okay, because MAGA is now in the find out stage, and they
don't understand
are upset.
Why they're there.
Right.
They're there.
Right. They don't get it because they were told that Donald Trump would magically make their lives better, that they would magically have more money in the bank. And yeah, that just everything he would just sprinkle some magic dust on it and it would all improve. But they're finding out the hard way that all these liberals were telling the truth. And they are pissed. So instead of us having to protest at these Republican town halls or whatever, it's honestly gotten so bad that they've been told to stop doing public town halls.
and let's be clear, it's not like, so this is important, okay? Because when this started happening, like last week, Donnie Little Pee-Pee Pants put out another little Twitter tweet that it's Democratic operatives being paid that are going to these town halls.
Of course.
So the beauty of Donald Trump's stupidity is now he just signaled to MAGA that he's done with them. He doesn't need them anymore. The reason is this is the first time, whether he acknowledges it, understands it, or whatever, this is the first time MAGA, we have proof of it, is turning on him. Because these town halls, they're yelling at these Congress people and these senators why they're doing this. Why is Elon doing this? They're saying, why is Trump letting Elon do this? And then when this is the thing, in some of these videos, these Congress people and these representatives are like, well, Elon is representing Donald Trump's vision. And they're going, no, this is MAGA people doing this. And Donald Trump doesn't care anymore because he won. He got it. He's in forever. That's it. We're never getting rid of him. So he doesn't need them anymore.
Right. I forget who I was listening to, and this kind of shook me to my core, but you got to ask yourself, is Donald Trump and the Republican Party, are they acting like their actions, are they acting like there's going to be another election in 4 years? No, they are not acting like that because their shit is so unpopular. There's no chance in hell now that they would get reelected. Some of them would. Somehow, somebody would still vote Republican.
I'm going to say it. Marjorie Taylor Greene still won in Georgia. Lauren Boebert switched her district because she got kicked out of one, and the new district was like, yeah, we'll give you a shot.
Yeah. Maybe she's not as bad as everybody says she is. All right, let's just play this one video where MAGA's upset, and we love it.
Personally, do you support Ukraine or Russia?
Well, no, it's not easy, ma'am. It's not easy. It's not easy.
Is Zelensky a dictator, yes or no?
That part I have a problem with that statement, yes.
Okay, did Ukraine start the war?
Well,
it's simple.
Do you support
Did Ukraine start the war, yes or no? Did Ukraine start the war? Yes
let
or no?
him answer. Let him answer, ma'am.
Well, ma'am, I will. Just hang on a second. Is that your question? Did they start the war?
That's part of it. I want to know where you stand
It's not part of it.
on Ukraine or Russia. We have been supporting Zelensky for years now. 3 years since Putin started this. Now we're isolating, or he is isolating America. He's calling names and all this. Where do you...
Let me just say this. This is not the tactic that I would use to try to solve the problem. And I've said that.
Oh,
man. You know,
so he's trying to save his job if we ever have elections again, but he doesn't have the balls or the respect of his constituents or democracy to even go, yeah, Trump's full of shit. You're right.
I like how his staff was like, give him a chance to answer. I'm like, he asked a yes or no question. How much time do you need to answer? Yes. Oh, okay, great.
All right, thanks. Okay, great.
That took about a half a second. But
so
no, MAGA
that's the thing is
pissed.
Before this moment, Republicans could say anything to MAGA because it was always about triggering MAGA. It was always about giving them the buzzwords, blame some black people, some gay people, some trans people, give them the boogeyman. The problem is now the boogeyman is the person that they voted for. And he's cutting the veterans. There's allowing all this slashing, Medicaid, our schools. All of this is now impacting SNAP. All of that is impacting the very people that voted for him. Why? Because Republicans have historically always been voting against their self-interests. Okay, this is the natural evolution of it, and now they are being destroyed because of it. And when they ask their representatives, why is the guy that we love and worship and would kill for, would storm our Capitol for, why is he allowing this to happen? those representatives are like, no, that's not really happening. You don't, what you're seeing isn't real. Shh, stop. It's the Democrats, Biden,
Right.
Obama, her emails.
Yeah. I mean, the woman at the beginning asked a very simple question. Do you support Russia or Ukraine? Very simple question. It's Russia or Ukraine. It's one or the other. It's not that easy. Yes.
Very
yes,
complex question.
Right.
No.
Right. And one is our ally, one is our enemy. Oh my God. And of course, MAGA doesn't realize that the whole reason we're supposed to defend Ukraine and Donald Trump is shitting all over this agreement is because they agreed to give up their nuclear weapons. We said, we'll protect you. You give up your nukes because they had the world's largest stockpile, second largest
largest stockpile because they've always been afraid of Russia destroying them.
Yeah.
So to denuclearize, I screwed up that word, but to reduce the number of nukes
there you go.
that was around, there we go. We promised we would have their back, and we lied to them.
Yep. So yeah, it's getting crazy. Yeah, it's gonna be a wild ride. So buckle up, man. But we're gonna report on every single bit of it. But I think that's all we have for today's show. We got through almost everything.
Someone was mentioning that we should try and look into covering more protests, and I mentioned that is absolutely something we are into.
Definitely.
They actually suggested, maybe we should look to try and get paid to cover protests for organizations, and I was like, you know what? We're not in it for the money in that way. If they wanted to help supply travel or equipment costs, that's one thing.
That's what I was thinking. If
but
they were
more
willing
than
to fund
anything,
the means to get there, that'd be great.
Yeah, fine. But more than anything, we just want the opportunity to go to these protests, these demonstrations, to keep showing not just our amazing viewers that continue to support us, but anyone who wants to watch that the resistance is real. It's bigger than any media outlets ever going to report on. Okay.
Right.
It's bigger. There are protests in 50 state capitals almost every day, and no one's reporting on it. Okay.
Very true.
We are actively talking to multiple organizers, trying to find where the next ones are that we can go. We had so much fun doing it. It was deeply moving experience. And yeah, we want to cover more, so we will.
Yep, and actually, we're gonna have the organizer of our last protest. She'll be on our show, Laura High. She'll be on our show later the 30th, I think it is, the last Sunday of the month.
And Matt will be on. He helped organize it. He spoke at it.
Yeah, Matt, who on TikTok most people know as USMC Angry Veteran. He's been on the show before too. We got to meet him in real life, which was awesome. So yeah, we redid that. That was kind of the goal. Is we do want to do more protests. You guys can, if you want help, fund it yourself. We do have a GoFundMe link set up. We don't do ads anymore because we want to say what we want to say, and we want to say how we want to say it. And we're tired of getting flagged for language or some of the videos that we show or whatever. So we'd rather just not do ad revenue. So we do rely on small dollar donations or any money that we can scrape together to try and keep the show going and to do more live events, because that is the goal now from now on. We want to do.
We love doing it.
Yeah, as many live events as we possibly can. Live stream protests, just do stuff that nobody else is really trying to do right now. We want to bring some hope to a very dark time as well, just to show you that people are fighting back, because I think a lot of people are afraid because Donald Trump obviously is threatening to use the military against protesters.
Yeah, Kent State, look it up. Kent State.
So we want to show people that there is no reason to be afraid. Maybe there is, but at some point you got to put fear aside and just stand up for what the fuck you believe in. It's time to stand on business, okay? We got to, if we're going to, especially Mike and I, if we're going to talk all this shit, we also want to be out in it. You know what I mean?
That was an important part of it. I really wanted to make sure that we weren't just, armchair quarterbacking this.
Right.
I don't know what the extent we could ever do to help, but we have found what we believe to be our niche. We love what we're doing, and we love growing a community. And if we could get a chance to be part of something and show people more of it on the streets, then that's the way we could help. And then we are going to be 100% in on that.
I agree. Oh, and we also want to be able to bring the means of organization too, because I think that's a lot of things. A lot of people don't know how to organize events or how to find events that are already organized, and where there's not like a central resource that we can just go to and look up what protests are happening and when. So it's still kind of and we get the information when we get it from whoever we get it from. That's kind of how it works right now. So, but like I said, you can, if you want, you can donate. through GoFundMe, and we do have the link in the description of the video. You can.
We do want to provide other methods. We just are honestly.
We don't know, dude. We don't have any.
We're sorry.
Right. I mean, I'm sure there's other ways out there that are more efficient or even easier to use. But honestly, Mike and I just do all this on our own, and we just don't know a lot of these things. I mean, we'll be honest. So yeah,
we don't have a Patreon yet. We've talked about it. We're not sure what we would do with it to make it worth anyone's while, but
yeah, right now with the amount of time we have, we just don't have the ability to expand on other platforms.
Right now, we're able to focus.
Right. So once we are able to focus on this full time, once we figure out how to secure some legit funding, we do want to expand to other platforms like Patreon. We are on Spotify, but I haven't been uploading the videos lately. I heard Substack you can do sub. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Veg the Aging Hippie. I like the name. Lost my train of thought. Thank you so much. Your kindness threw me off track.
Yeah, we got blinded by the money. No,
thank you. But like we always, it's never been about the money. We're not trying to get rich off of this shit. We just want to participate as much as freaking possible, man, and be on the front lines of it all.
Yep.
So thank you so much for watching. We love you all. Have a good rest of your day. Tentatively, I will be on Sunday, obviously, as long as nothing happens between now and then with Matt, who is USMC Angry Veteran, and then Mike and I'll be back on again next Tuesday talking about whatever the hell happens this week. Jesus Christ.
It's going to happen quick. Keep up.
God.
Keep up with it.
All right. Have a good rest of your